The grease monkey, why they were called grease monkeys? Because the early cars had to be lubed so often, they were always taking it in to be greased.
And so the technician was just a monkey.
On this episode of Sam's Garage, the Lokar team helps Sam install an LS Classics top-end kit on a friend's '69 Camaro. Sam and Doug installed the new big front brakes on the '57 Thunderbird. Action Offroad stops by the garage to show how to mount new doors on a Can-Am side-by-side. Then Bob Douglas makes a special appearance to help Sam with relocating the rear end of the Thunderbird. Kevin and Travis help Sam install the LS Classics top-end kit from Lokar Performance. The set includes new chrome valve covers and ignition coil relocation kit. The coil relocation kit helps keep the wires clean and out of the way.
Man, that is really nice. Nice and heavy, made in the USA. I can't wait to install this on this, Travis. What are we gonna do today?
Well, today we're going to remove these coil covers that we have here. Remove those, put them somewhere else, maybe beside the transmission. We don't know yet. But put those big block valve covers we got.
Chrome looks really good.
Yes.
Making it look like the old 396.
Absolutely.
So we're taking a break from the Jeep project because we're waiting for our TerraFlex 1-ton axles to come in, and then we're going to continue with that. But until then, we have Skip's Camaro in the shop, and we're going to be doing a top-end kit from LS Classics and making it look like the old school with the air filter like we did on the Chevelle, right?
Yes, sir. So right now we've got the Clayton Machine Works coil covers on it right now. They fit really nice. You do have to do some trimming like around the alternator and the brake booster.
But it looks really good though. I like this setup as well.
Right.
But the Classic's going to look really nice. What do you think, Kevin?
I think it's a great idea. It looks good like this. I was excited to get it finished with Trav. I'm going to be supervising a lot. You guys are the engine guys. See how you do.
That's going to be nice, man. Hopefully I know how, right?
I don't think you have any problems, Sam.
I don't know. All right, so when you guys are doing a job like this, we're not going to take our valley pan off yet. We are going to replace it, but we're going to wait till we're done with the valve covers and the coils so we don't accidentally throw something in here. And I went ahead and put some towels inside the porch. You can also use tape. Keep everything protected so you don't have a bad day when you go to crank it.
So one good thing about our valve covers is we use the OE gasket, so you can remove the factory valve cover that you have and just use that same existing gaskets as long as it's in good shape. It just goes right down in the groove like the factory one does.
So Travis, how would one know the orientation of the coil packs according to the cylinders?
So funny you mentioned that, Sam. So these are mirrored as far as the harness itself. So purple would actually be number 1. And on the other side you've got red, that would be number 2 on the other side. So you've got odds and evens.
We've got lots of options where we can mount these coils. These are a universal bracket. If we wanted a more racy look, we can mount them to the inner fenders or on the firewall, make the wires real short. Our kits come with about a 9-foot set of wires, so we've got room to bring it back through here. And we're actually gonna mount these right here on the subframe connectors out of harm's way, and it'll be nice and clean, and we'll have plenty of room to get up to our distributor.
And for you race cars, not only is it a cool racy look, but also very easy access for serviceability when you're at the racetrack. That way you can very easily get your valve covers on and off, check your valve springs, check your rocker arms, and then you've got the coil packs right there where you can check for misfires, ignition, look at the wires, easy serviceability. But on a street car, this is very nice.
Our plug wires actually outperform the factory wires, so very little resistance. So the distance, not a problem.
Great for racing applications.
Absolutely.
So you guys are probably wondering, how are we going to connect our coils remotely from the engine? And Travis has the answer.
Right here, Sam.
What is that?
This is a coil extension harness.
How long is it?
4 feet.
How do you know? Good job.
Yes. You got a measuring tape, Sam?
No, I believe you.
Well, those valve covers really changed it.
Yeah, it's an amazing transformation so quick.
That looks really good. I like the chrome look on that. I can see myself in there. Yeah. And this is going to look really good once we get this installed, plus the LS Classic old school look. That's going to be really nice.
Like we did on the Chevelle and the Buick.
Absolutely. So we got the valve covers done, we got the coil packs in place. Next we're going to do the LS Classic look with the Holley intake manifold. We're going to install the distributor and the ignition wires, putting a period on the coil packs. Join us next week.
Welcome back to Sam's Garage, presented by NH Oil Undercoating. Sam and Doug get to work on the front brakes for the 57 Thunderbird. The new large brakes are a perfect match for the upgraded suspension. While under the wheel wells, the guys install the grease fittings and lube up the chassis for a smooth ride.
Doug and I are at the point with our Thunderbird where we're going to be installing the whole front brake system. If you remember back at Hempsaw, we sort of just mocked up the rotor so we could have something to roll with. And now we're going to finalize it by actually greasing up the bearings, showing you guys how to properly do that and install them. But you know what, before we do that, I want to show you guys something. This is a perfect opportunity to show you what caster is on your alignment. You can clearly see the relationship of the upper ball joint to the lower ball joint. How the upper ball joint is behind the lower ball joint. That's going to give you negative caster. When you're straight up and down, you start to go to 0. Then when you go the opposite way, which is backwards, wrong, you never want negative caster. Why that's important is because caster is what gives you stability, especially at speed when you're going down the road. If you guys remember when you had a bicycle back in the day and you turn the handlebars around and the wheel was further towards the frame, it was very hard to steer. But if you turn it back around to its normal position and the weight of the bike is on back of the wheel, then it's going to be a lot more stable, especially at high speed.
Yeah, it really is too, Sam. And you know, they do the awful lot of that on race cars. You want to make sure that you've got a lot of stability, and it's the caster that gives you that stability inside of your steering. So just take a little bit of grease, and I'm going to take this right here, and if you take this and I start to put it in, what it's going to do, it'll start pushing all of the grease all the way through the bearing. This way, everything gets greased extremely well. It puts everything where the needle bearings are, and you never have to worry about it.
So what we're going to do now is very important. The grease fittings, these are all brand new components. We were mocking everything up in Oklahoma at Hempsaw. Now we're going to go through and put in all our grease fittings so we can grease all the joints. And then we're going to go ahead and tighten all the hardware, including the nuts that hold the spindles on, and put our cotter pins in place.
We're just getting ready to go ahead and grease the zerks. We just finished putting the zerks in the upper and the lower control arms, as well as the tie rods, and now I'm going to go ahead and pump it with some grease. But you always want to be careful when you're doing that. You don't pump so much in that you'll blow the seals out. Sam, you know, one of the interesting things as I'm greasing this, you know, back in the day when I was a young man and you went to a service station, they actually serviced the cars. You didn't just pump your own gas, they serviced it. So the older cars had to be greased all the times because of the way they put them together.
Like a truck.
Like a truck, yeah.
Right.
They didn't have the exact same type of bearings and bushings and stuff that we have today. So everything always had to be greased. So the guy that was working on your car was called a grease monkey, because once again, it's exactly what I was doing. You brought your car in, he serviced it, they put it on a rack, they had the old racks that brought them up, and he greased the cars. That's how they got the name Grease Monkey.
That's weird, because you know, when I hear monkey, I'm thinking someone in a monkey suit, or I'm thinking there's a monkey down there.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to figure out where the word monkey came from.
I have no idea, Sam.
But I like
They
it,
call
you know.
them grease monkeys.
Hey, we're grease monkeys, it's fine.
Hey, it's all right, I don't mind.
Nothing wrong with being a grease monkey. Not bad, Doug. We got the front end completed. We got the cotter pins in place. We've tightened all the hardware. We got our grease in the joints, grease in the bearings, ready to go.
Yeah, it looks great, Sam. I'm really tickled with the way it looks. The car's going to have a lot of power, and it looks like it's going to stop just great and steer as well. So it looks fantastic.
Absolutely. And those wheel wood calipers, what I like about them is that they're universal. They can go on any corner of the car. But when it comes to you guys bleeding the brakes, ignore the bottom bleeders. Never ever try to bleed your brakes with the bottom bleeder valves. Always go on top. Every time you open this, you're introducing air to the system. You'll have a mushy pedal, so don't forget that.
And what Sam's talking about is the air always rises. So if you bleed back here, you're still going to have an air pocket up here.
That's why we got a little bleeder valve right on top of that.
It works.
A lot of mistakes I see out there in the field, both from technicians and DIYers, is proper torque on hardware, especially in the case of a spark plug. It's like people are just scared to tighten these guys down, but it's important that you do, because if they are loose, you're going to lose compression, and if they wiggle around, most cylinder heads today are aluminum, so it's going to gall up the thread, so you don't want that. What you're going to do is, in this case, we have a crush washer. A lot of them are going to be tapered with no washer. So when you're tightening it onto the cylinder head, you're going to contact the crush washer first, okay? So then you have to crush the washer. You see how many turns it takes? Then when it stops, go a quarter turn, okay? In the case of a no washer spark plug where it's just tapered, when it stops and you feel that resistance, go a quarter turn. Don't be afraid to tighten them. And in most cases, you don't need to use anti-seize in an OEM application. And if you're changing your spark...
Welcome back to more Sam's Garage, presented by NHOU. Action Offroad is back on the set to help Sam install new doors on their Can-Am side-by-side. The new doors have a steel tubing frame and aluminum skins. Upgrading the doors will provide protection for the driver and passenger while out blazing the trails.
So today on our side-by-side, we're going to be installing TMW doors from actionoffroad.com. And these are going to give us a lot more protection and just make it a full door, right?
Yeah, the factory doors are just plastic. And with the TMWs, they're sheet metal skins with steel frame and stuff. So it's going to be a lot more durable, and it's going to be a lot safer. You're not going to have sticks and stuff come through. They're going to seal up a little bit more against the chassis there, so you don't get water and stuff in the cab as bad. So
I'm pretty surprised they actually sell these things with such big holes in the sides, but not a lot of people do what you guys do, so you need more protection.
right, yeah, for sure. You know, when you get some of those bad trails that Hatfield McCoy and stuff like that, you're getting into some of those rocks and roots and sticks and stuff. It can get dangerous, so to have that extra protection is kind of nice.
It sounds like fun.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
All right, so first we're going to take off these doors. We are going to have to reuse the factory latches. We're going to transfer them onto our doors, assemble them, then assemble them onto the vehicle. All right, so to get this process done is going to be first to remove the door. We're going to have to use some of the hardware on our new door. There are some hardware that's here that James is going to show you guys how to remove properly. Then we're going to go onto the bench. We're going to transfer over the hardware that we need to transfer from the factory door to the new door and continue installing the new door.
Factory Can-Am uses some Loctite called Scotch grip, and it's extremely hard to get off. So you want to basically heat this bolt up at the bottom and break that Loctite loose. Depending on what size torch you use, you want to pull this vanity cover off as well.
Yeah, so a lot of times on this frame is powder coated. The powder coat adds some thickness to the material, so a lot of times your hardware won't fit. As you see in this heim joint, it won't go in. So just get a drill bit. You want to just go lightly in here and clean this out.
All right, also one more tip too. I would install this piece of hardware first, so that way the door is not in the way. Otherwise, you're going to be fighting it the whole time.
What a great addition to this side-by-side, you know? That door is big, complete, lots of protection. What do you guys think?
Absolutely. I think it's really slick looking. You know, it gives it a nice finished look.
Yeah, absolutely. What about you, James?
I loved how easy it was to adjust. I was honestly kind of dreading it, but then we put the doors on, like within minutes it was adjusted and ready to go.
All right, so if you guys want to get doors for your side-by-side, doesn't have to be a Can-Am, could be a Polaris. They have other models as well. ActionOffroad.com's got what you need.
Welcome back to Sam's Garage, presented by NHOU. Bob Douglas from Rod End Supply stops by Sam's Garage to help with relocating the rear end of the 57 Thunderbird. The new 4-link bars and rod ends will help move the rear end back 2 inches so it's in the correct position. In addition, the new bars are thicker to provide more strength.
I got Bob Douglas from Rod End Supply back in the shop to help me fix a little problem we have with the Thunderbird chassis behind us. Now, this is R&D, trial and error, you know, things like this happen. We'll get to that in a second. What do you got in front of us, Bob?
Well, we do have a variety of products that we make. We have a steel swedge tube of various sizes. We also have the aluminum swedge tube in various sizes. And then we also have a chromoly tube that has the bungs that are welded in, that has the threads in them.
You also have these bushed ends as well.
We have the bushed ends as well. In fact, the bushed ends, this is the one that's going to go on the Thunderbird. This has got a 5/8 hole with a 3/4 shank. We carry these also in both right and left hand. The poly bushing is a 95 durometer, which is a little harder, and the metal sleeve that's inside is stainless steel. So that keeps a lot of the other 4-bar ends that are on the industry, out on the market. They've just got a metal sleeve that could be zinc plated, then maybe not zinc plated at all.
And there's
we've
nothing
got
worse
several
than when the
sizes.
hardware marries that sleeve.
Rust together, then that's terrible to try to get them apart.
What we're doing here is our Thunderbird, when we built the chassis, the rear end is off by roughly 2.5 inches. It is forward. So for us to center it, we have to make new 4-links. And this way, we went ahead and went with Bob Douglas because he's got the best rod ends and bushed ends. And we've got a thicker, bigger bar so that Doug doesn't crush him when he's out there doing his thing in his Thunderbird. Let's go ahead and remove this side. We'll get our measurements, see what we need to do on this side, and start making them one by one.
Great.
What do you have here, and what's the difference between the left and the right hand?
Most of our product come in right hand and left hand. The right hand bung, as you can see, is just plain. Some, not all, of our left hand bungs have a hex, but all of our left hand bungs has this groove notched in it, and that's to indicate that it is a left hand thread. So that way, you know when you're trying to assemble stuff together, which is a left hand and which is a right hand.
Right. So the right hand is correct. That's right. There's nothing wrong with it. The left hand is incorrect, so therefore you got a groove and a hex.
That's correct. Good way to put it.
You have to have a left and a right if you ever wanted to have an adjustable rod.
Right.
So you can't mess this up. If you do, you've welded it in, you've pretty much killed the bar because it's non-adjustable.
Yeah. Some people, what they do is they make one end non-adjustable, and then they use only a right hand on the other end. Well, that's well and good if all you're going to do is adjust it one time, set it, and you're done with it. But in this case where this car may be raced, we don't know, you may want to change the pinion angle a little bit.
That's the biggest thing, is the pinion angle in a case like this.
So therefore, you don't have to take the bolts out to take it one end down to adjust it. All you have to do is break the lock nuts loose, and then you can take your wrench and adjust it, whether you want to come in with it a little more or go out with it a little more.
So much easier, such a better way to go.
Yes.
Bob and I have our links removed from the passenger side of the Thunderbird. We're going to go ahead and make up our new ones, paint them up, and install them. So catch us next week when we put the rear end back together in the correct spot.
Be sure to check out Sam's Garage on these other media platforms. Send us questions and feedback to info@samsgaragetv.com. This episode, Sam, Kevin, and Travis showcased the LS Classics top-end kit on a '69 Camaro. The front suspension and brakes are now completed on the '57 Thunderbird project. Action Offroad upgraded the doors on a Can-Am side-by-side, and Bob Douglas helped Sam with a new 4-link rear end kit from Rod End Supply.